What is up, everybody? It's your galactic demon here, Dickie, and I bring you DickeyTime. Got my boy Jebby with me as always.
Heyo,
Mr. Justin Peterson. And today we're coming at you from the deepest, darkest corners of Mildew City.
Yeah, let me see if I can get some sound for y'all to just kind of show you what's going on over here.
We are out in the wilderness. We decided to have a mobile podcast set up today, and we decided to burn away the virus outside in our yard. We're sending smoke signals into the sky in hopes that Cthulhu will see our calls and come remove us from this realm. I wish you guys could see Justin just putting a microphone up to a fire. Truly is an interesting image.
It sounds really fucking cool. But yeah. How was your day, Austin? What transpired throughout your day today?
Play the new hero on Overwatch. That was pretty cool. Yeah, that was exciting, if you will. What did I do? I don't even know what I did today. We had a fire earlier.
Yeah.
I think that was it. Podcast was the only thing I had scheduled today.
Nice day off.
Yeah, it was pretty chill. I've been busting all week on this ad I had, where I did you were part of it. Did a song for it. Did 2 ad reads for it. I guess it'll be out by then. Yeah, I basically did 2 ad reads in one ad read. So there was a lot of writing for that. So it's nice to have this weekend off. How about you, Jeb? What have you been up to?
Man, yesterday I've been super into biking recently, and I got a flat tire 5 miles away from the fucking place that we're just chilling at. So I just fucking posted up at this big ass rapid river, and I was just just taking in the surroundings, just gotta make the most out of this. At least there's this beautiful river, and I can just chill out here, and I don't know, just take in the sights. Maybe just spend some time thinking, I guess.
I saw your picture of your thighs towards the river, and then the Prometheus aliens.
Yeah.
Comparison. This is what man came from.
Yeah.
I am Jesus.
I was I was more so trying to portray look at my tiny legs, and then the other half was just as if it was the rest of my body.
Oh, I get you. I thought because you were at a river, because in that scene when he disrobes and then he falls into the river.
Yeah, the tweet was I got a flat tire ... And that scene in Prometheus is just him committing suicide at the river.
Right. And I was I feel I took the darkest interpretation of your tweet.
Yeah. I was kind of I was wondering if anyone was going to be you okay, bro? Or
you good? Everyone's just it's just one of those weird Jebby tweets, I guess.
Yeah. It was 100% that.
Yeah, what have you been jamming to musically? I started doing these playlists over on Twitch, where I compiled 30 songs or so per stream, and I have two playlists right now with a bunch of new tracks. That new "Make Them Suffer" came out. Did you hear that at all?
No.
Yeah, they have a new single. It's definitely not their best work, but it's exciting to know that they're putting out new music.
What direction are they kind of going with the new stuff?
I don't know if this single is directly. A direct representation of what their new stuff's going to sound like, but the chorus is something that really killed it for me. It was the keyboard player. She had her own little chorus thing, but the melody was super weak for a full-on chorus, and they did it 4 times.
Yeah.
It just didn't really land for me personally, but that band's put out 5 solid records, so yeah. I am still excited to hear what they have coming, but I gotta say, that Drown With Me track was not my favorite.
Yeah, me getting a flat tire, I was just
a different man.
I was just bumping a lot of just whatever was coming up. I just remember listening to Kuba Khan's last record, and then just whatever would just come on, and they popped up, and for the longest time I always had my reserves. I was always just kind of this band's good, but they're not hitting that chord with me yet. But recently it's been I'm rediscovering. I guess I never had it before, but I'm I'm starting to appreciate what they're laying down in terms of how
I
they
think
are
lyrically,
different.
as a person, you're kind of just coming around to that too now.
Yeah,
Is it like looking into the song is beyond just heavy riffs?
yeah, and that's a good thing to like talk about. Really, is like I felt like for the longest time, whenever I was listening to heavy music or screamo, hardcore, I never was super into the lyrics. I was just more so focused on the energy and the aggression, I guess. Whereas now, as like I guess a 26-year-old man, I'm just like kind of looking inward a little more. I'm like, what are these lyrics? How do they like go with the mood of this song? And yeah, I don't know. I feel like more now than ever, I appreciate music for what it is.
Right. Like understanding the artist like perspective.
Yeah.
Is kind of cool, especially if it's like somebody like Matt, for example, who comes from, a really tortured and broken home, and somebody who's a person of color. They can offer a really unique perspective on things, and it's really cool to see how it comes out in his music.
Yeah.
So I think Kuba Khan's a great representation of looking deeper into like their lyrics aren't like complex really, but emotionally you're like, whoa, this guy's saying some shit.
Oh
man.
yeah. I absolutely felt that way. I think the new Kuba Khan record was the first record that I was like, okay, let's sit down, let's pull up the lyrics, and let's listen to this all the way through, and let's do this a few times and see if it feels different the next time I listen to it, or if I missed anything.
That's so funny. I'm like the opposite. That's how I've always listened to music, is as like the lyrics. Like that was what was most important for me.
Yeah.
Was lyrics. And now as an adult, I'm like really into instrumental music, like mathcore and shit.
Yeah.
I just like really love like weird. I appreciate the fuck out of like instrumentals now, versus before I only liked bands if I was like, their vocalist is really cool.
Yeah, and I think that's just a part of getting older. I never thought I was going to be listening to as much rap as I am now, but that's like the main thing I'm listening to now is just.
That's like all I listen to is rap.
Yeah. I've been bumping Night Lavelle heavy recently.
Yup.
Yeah, just like Googling.
Me subsequently, because of how much you listen to it, I have to.
Yeah.
It's fucking sick. Bops. And Freddie Dredd. You've been bumping a lot of Freddie Dredd too.
Yeah, I think in terms of where they came from, what they're doing, how it has that very underground thing to it. They're not signed,
Super unique too. Especially with Freddie Dredd stuff, like him like rapping kind of aggressively over really like major stuff is very unique. It's almost like rapping over the Wii theme music, like Wii Sports music, putting like some like, damn son, but over like
yeah, it's an interesting time to be a solo artist. Like, I mean, just seeing what TikTok has done, and even just working with distributors. Like, I see now that there's this market with TikTok for musicians.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit earlier. That's definitely a good discussion point of how like songs have transcended what they originally were for. Like a song being like a way to express, a piece of like, oh, we're all musicians. We want to make music. We want to express ourselves artistically. To now it's almost like it's like a business model where, hey, we want this song to go viral so that it does well. Let's orchestrate essentially a viral hit.
Yeah.
Look at like the crossover of like the Cole Bennett rappers, the Lyrical Lemonade dudes. There's that new Blue Fago, what's his name? Lil Mosey or something?
Oh yeah, you were showing me him.
He has a music video at the Hype House, and which is, if you don't know what the Hype House is, it's like TikTok kids. There's like 15 TikTok kids that live there, and some like adult owns it. It's really weird, but they just farm content. That's like the whole point of the house, is that these kids just make dances all day.
Yeah, and
they get advertisers and they make a bunch of money. But it's like this whole image of like knowing that your market is younger kids right now. How integral TikTok is. It's really crazy. It like make or breaks artists. Like Ash Nico, she blew the fuck up from TikTok. Or Doja Cat, like dude, even Tiny Meat Gang, their music is gigantic on TikTok. It's just like anything that can be made into a meme is like blows up on TikTok. Like if I can take 10 to 20 seconds out of a song and make it a silly lip sync out of it, it's like, it's fodder,
Yeah.
It's very interesting that's like this new wave of promoting your content.
Yeah, and it's where I see these big labels kind of going. They're pushing their...
They're so detached, though. It comes off so weird.
Yeah, it comes off very cringe, but I think they have their head is in the right place, but they just don't understand that.
It's like when you get like Carly Rae Jepsen on a Target commercial, and it's like Carly Rae Jepsen in Tyga, and you're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, this
what
doesn't.
are you guys trying to do? They're
This doesn't make me want to buy your toothbrush anymore.
Yeah, some like 60-year-old dude just went to Billboard. It's like, let's pick two of these top 5 artists, and let's force them into our commercial.
Yeah,
we know it's hip. We Googled it. Trust us.
Yeah. That's always an interesting thing for me is like the way these big labels, what they want, that dirty, grimy, underground upbringing or image, I guess. Even though in some cases they'll just kind of
broken personality sell, which is crazy.
Yeah. It's weird that they see that there's a market in that, and they just kind of bring in these, I guess, like fostered, child stars into that, I think there was a big thing a while ago about Billie Eilish, how she never was, a struggling artist to begin with. She came from a very prominent family, and her brother was like an actor or something like that. And
he's also a musician.
Yeah, and they just come from like this really nice place in California somewhere, and they happen to be around, agents, and just coincidentally found their way with a good label, and now she's one of the biggest artists of, I guess, 2019, even 2020 right now, I'd say.
Yeah, I will say, I think she's a little different from that perspective too, though, just because she genuinely comes off of like, because of her pedigree and her brother's pedigree, that like I will say a lot of their music does come across as genuine musicianship.
Oh yeah,
and, like the structures of songs. It's like, I don't think it's necessarily like I don't know. I feel like I don't think you were intentionally doing it, but it almost was like implicative of saying that she's like selling the image of that sadness and stuff.
Yeah,
because she was she didn't have to struggle at all as an artist, but I don't know. I think that those feelings come along with that too, of being like told that you're not allowed to have feelings because you were given a better chance than other people. I guess.
Yeah, and not
you're still allowed to have feelings.
Yeah, not to discount like her as a person by any means, because rich or not, you're gonna go through it. It's all just a matter of time before you go through psychosis or something. Or, in her case, like I definitely buy it. A lot of her music is, I'm sad because this is my reality. This is just how I'm expressing myself in my situation. And
she seems very aware of the celebrity lifestyle that she's kind of in. Yeah, like a lot of her lyrics seem to be like aware that tons of her relationships are gonna fail because of the lifestyle that she lives. And just being super aware of that at a young age is almost like, empowering for a younger audience, I feel. Like it's nice to see like an artist come up. Like it's like, even from a background of like, oh, I'm, guaranteed to be a musician. Like she could have done anything with that and wrote about shitty stuff or like bad breakup songs. But, using her platform to actually make like genuine, intimate songs seems to be like almost like a wave of new stuff, like that new trend of like Nothing Nowhere and stuff. Like there's new, like people are really into the idea of being emotional right now. It's not just sad, like how sad rappers were like a big thing like a year or two ago. And now it seems to be like the new wave is very like expressive, like people like the MGK thing becoming like emo, it's like people are really into, it's the new scene revival essentially, where people are like trying to be in their feels and shit. And it's almost like an emo revival.
Yeah. I think it says a lot. I think popular music comes in waves. I think the last time we saw a major wave of it was the 90s going into the 2000s. There was a period where it was just like people were done with the aggressive, dirty griminess of grunge and shit like that. And they just wanted those positive, Maroon 5 songs, you know?
Yeah, that's a really good point.
And
like everything comes in waves of emotions.
Yeah, you know, this is a thing I've said quite often, but I think especially like local music scenes, I think they shift every 5 years. You know, what was really prosperous, doing really good at one point, 5 years later is almost completely gone. Like that artist needs to completely get a new foundation or something. Bring Me the Horizon is a great example of that. You know, they're always one step ahead of the curve. I feel like, you know, they're changing. Every record is different, and yeah. I feel like that's why they have done so well. Is they're so good at not being the same. Yeah, adapting, creating things that are different, leading,
paying attention.
Yeah, leading music. You know. Making people want to write differently rather than
and I've heard too a
cookie
lot
cutter metalcore or something.
Ollie holds that mentality that Mitch Lucker kind of held of not to listen to music in your own genre, and like I think that helps a lot too. Is that they always are listening to what's popping, and because they kind of seem to be ahead of the curve on all of it.
Yeah, remember when Suicide Silence was kind of you almost were made fun of for listening to Suicide Silence in, I guess 2000, was it 2008 when The Cleansing came out? They kind of had that big wave. They were playing like Rockstar Mayhem Festival, and that was doing good. But I kind of remember the elitist like
elitist MySpace deathcore kid.
Well, yeah. There was a huge.
Bro, this isn't Knights of the Abyss.
There was a huge dispute between death metal guys and deathcore kids because death metal guys didn't listen to deathcore unless it was what was that one band? They had a Fractured Hand.
Like a song, or there was a
member the song was a Fractured Hand. I'll never forget it. I found it on like I think it was they were on Nuclear Blaster. It was Nuclear Blast or Sumerian. God, Despised Icon. That's what it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Despised Icon was a great transition band for those death metal guys because you know I think the dudes in Despised Icon are probably late 30s now, so they were definitely around for that death metal wave. But yeah, they definitely were I feel like one of the first to be like, hey, like, yeah, fast blast beats are cool and shit, but
we can get slow.
Yeah, what about a groove?
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Dude, I remember the first time seeing Furtive Monologue. I was, it was like post-parents divorce, and I was at my dad's, and he was like born again Christian, you know, reformed. So it was like no naughty stuff at their house. You know, went from like swearing and being out late to like keep it down at 9 p.m.
Yeah,
I was watching music videos on demand, and Furtive Monologue was one of the videos, and it's a little like intense if you've never seen scary things before. And I remember like having to try to like look behind my back, like, is somebody gonna see me watching this? They're gonna think I'm the demon spawn.
Yeah, I remember with a CD player in the back of my car when my parents would drive me to school, like I'd have to make sure that my music was super fucking quiet, because obviously I don't have good noise canceling headphones. It's like the dollar store plastic break if you step on them.
I had to wear the ones. I always had, until I was an adult, I had the headphones that like wrapped around the back of your head.
Oh yeah.
They're like the full on, like no, they were never earbuds. They were always headphones.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah. It's really funny to think about that. Like, is a headphone called because it's like looks like a phone on your head.
Yeah.
Looks like an old analog phone stuck to your head.
Man, remember the dispute between iPods and Zunes for the longest period?
Yeah, it's Xbox and fucking PlayStation. You know?
That's what it was.
There's always a debate between the things. I had Zune when I was younger, but that was only because I traded like favors to a friend for a Zune. That sounded way more mysteriously sexual than I anticipated. I had to do a couple of favors.
Yeah.
I had to bury a few bodies, dig a few holes.
I remember getting iTunes gift cards for Christmas from that one really separated uncle or something. Or
I didn't get those. I always got like weird gift cards to like restaurants that I never went to. Here's a Chili's gift card.
I would always around Christmas because my family knew I was into music, or I was like I had a guitar and
Right, that makes sense. They just have like vaguest way of relating to you. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're the one that's into music. I got you a silly Walmart shirt that has a guitar that's on fire on it.
Yeah.
It's 2 sizes too big because I couldn't be bothered to ask your mother what your size is.
A cool gift that I did get from an aunt that I really enjoyed at the time, but looking back now, it's just the same fucking AC/DC tabs. It was she gave me I can't talk. She gave me a subscription to Guitar World.
That's pretty sick.
I just remember kind of there just being like, man, I really want to get good gear someday. I want to sound good, and I want to be able to play like these guys someday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the only bummer with Guitar World growing up was everyone that was in it at that point was like Van Halen, or, you know, like I think the coolest thing was Avenged Sevenfold at the time because they were kind of shreddy, and Guitar World was like, yeah, we're shreddy. Yeah, let's get these young guys in there because we need to make sure that, you know, our magazine doesn't just go under someday.
Look at this hot boy with tattoos. Please buy our magazine.
You know what magazine I've really actually been kind of into recently? And they've completely rebranded their image. And
Is
I think
AP?
No, fuck AP.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, no, AP can fucking eat my dick, dude. Like straight up, like that shit is so. They're just banking on My Chemical Romance, and not even like. There are hardly any other emo bands that I can think of. It's My Chemical Romance, Billie Eilish articles, and like
Melanie Martinez.
Melanie Martinez is another example, and like there's nothing wrong with that. Like I respect like
I get what you're saying though. It's weird that like when your entire brand is just waiting for other people to make things about artists that you know your followers like.
Yeah, it's like an extension of what Hot Topic is now. It's like, yeah, we're a meme store now.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, and I don't know. It leaves. Maybe this is just a sign that I'm getting old and grumpy, but it just like I remember what Hot Topic was. That's where you went to go find the good CDs.
Honestly, dude, that's how I found out about The Plot in You. That's how I found out about Periphery. Literally going to Hot Topic and some dude with discolored eye contacts going, yeah, bro, this is Periphery. You should check them out. Like, all right, I will.
Just walking into Hot Topic, there's just this one dude with his like stomach sticking out. And he's like talking to this like 13-year-old girl. And he's just like, yeah, check this shit out. Like, tell your boyfriend about syncopation. This.
Yeah, listen to this part and you hear, this. She's like, wow, that's sick.
Yeah. What was?
You remember that? I forgot about that. They used to have like CD listeners in Hot Topic for a little while. I totally forgot about that. That was the best shit. They literally had a rack, and you'd go up and you'd find the CD, and you'd be like, okay, I'm going to listen to this, and then decide if you wanted to buy it right then and there. That was the coolest shit. FYE used to do that too.
FYE was where I'd be.
I love that shit.
Yeah,
I used to spend hours at FYE when I was younger, just away from home, just looking and listening to CDs. Like,
what was the first CD that kind of you just like bought out of just complete randomness, and it turned you on to metal or hardcore or screamo, you know?
My being turned on to it was a little different because I was at a party as a young person that my parents had brought me to, and Bodies by Drowning Pool was on, and it was the first time I'd ever heard a scream in music, and I was like, what the hell is this? And the guy whose house we were at was like, oh, what's up, little man? You like that, huh? Okay, shit. All right, bet. And then for my birthday, he bought me, oh God, what's the name of the album? Death Grip on Yesterday by Atreyu.
Atreyu, yeah.
He bought me that record, and it came with a shirt.
Man.
And I listened to that CD that whole summer, bro. I was like, I was so into it, man. I beat Halo 3 probably 9 times to that album. Looking for those fucking skulls.
I think my first CD that I discovered on my own, just like walking through FYE, like after buying AC/DC Metallica records, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was All That Remains, The Fall of Ideals.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, like I just remember grabbing that record and looking at it and instantly just being like, this looks really crisp. This looks really new, you
This
know?
looks crisp.
Yeah, I mean, the artwork for that record was so just violent. It was literally a decapitated
Off-white cream.
body that was just like beaten to a pulp, and there was just a lot of fucking dark blue color tones happening.
Is that the one with the hand dragging across the stone wall?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a sick ass. That's the one with Becoming the Catalyst on it, isn't it?
Yep, it's also
Where he
got.
goes,
I think the reason I picked it up is because I, much like many kids growing up around my time, we had Guitar Hero, and 6 was like the heaviest song on Guitar Hero 1, aside from like those Pantera songs you could
gotcha.
play. And it was new, and it had a different sound, a different aggression to it, but it was also fast. So I was like, oh, I like Metallica, so I can get into this. And I just remember buying that record, and yeah, I'd listen to 6 and I'd be like, yeah, fuck, I have the record. Hell yeah. Now I can start collecting things and shit, or have a collection of CDs. And then I just remember right after 6, specifically, there's this song called The Weak-Willed. And fuck, man, that was like my introduction to just like heavy deathcore, death metal shit.
right.
Yeah, I loved that. And from there, you know, I had this neighbor across the street from me, that hardcore party guy. He was always getting into trouble with my older brother. He would bring over just these CDs you rip from his computer from LimeWire, and it would have Slipknot.
Oh, you can't
It had-
admit to that online.
It had Slipknot. It had like Korn on it. And I
Slipknot.
didn't even know the name of these bands at the time, but I was just like,
Dude, yeah.
this is what I love.
There was so much of that growing up, of like bands playing, or hearing my older brother play music, that I was like, I don't even know what this is. It was he used to listen to Korn all the time from his room. And so I always remembered like hating Korn for a long time because my brother sucked, and I just remember hearing Korn blasting when he was like alone in our bedroom and just keep on and on.
Yeah. I think the first Korn song that I heard was probably Twisted Transistor.
Okay, shit.
Yeah.
Damn, that's pretty hype.
Yeah.
Well, God, what was it? The album with the like weird, it's like white with the weird like bird thing on this. It's like side profile bird. Really old one. I think it has Coming
yeah.
Undone on it, and that weird the music video where they were like in a rodeo. Remember that one? I don't know what song that is. Maybe that's definitely not Coming Undone.
Yeah, that was the record I remember seeing and being like, okay, it was kind of like how AFI had the Rabbits, you know, and like I just attributed
Definitely.
that like circle of rabbits to that band. Like the artwork was just so sick that it was forever ingrained in my head. That's how I viewed that Korn record. Yeah, literally today I was just listening to Korn's 1999 record, the just kind of heavy, like very early new metal.
Is that the one with like Liar and stuff? And Twist?
Yeah.
The OG? Knock, knock, buddy, what give a dog a bone?
Yeah. Just really just grimy, nasty. But they still had really weird ambient Korn-esque leads happening, you know, a lot of chorus.
Cornus?
Chorus. Yeah. They've always had those weird things, you know. One thing with the Follow the Leader record that I just really fucking loved was the fact that they brought in, if you listen to that whole thing all the way through, there's
There's a little dead boy in the background.
there's like features from just rappers in the local scene there, you know, and they're totally owning the fact that there's this groove happening around their music, and it would 100% be so fitting to just bring in a good friend that just is on his own pursuit of music, you know. I loved that about the Follow the Leader record. That, and they were really just doing their own thing with the whole like anime-esque music videos and shit like that. They had that artwork, you know. It kind of reminded me a little bit
like
of
Freak on a Leash.
Yeah. Like it kind of reminded me of what the Gorillaz were doing a little bit.
Okay, yeah. I can see that.
Yeah,
For sure.
super cool. Definitely a nice little gem of the time.
I think that definitely helped make them stand out too as individuals. Like as a band, you know, like their sound for sure was different, but there was also a big increase of that sound at the time. But I think their music videos really, like when you think of Korn, I feel like you can't help but think of at least one music video by them.
Oh yeah.
Like when you think of Freak on a Leash, you probably think of the fucking holes in the barn, you know.
Oh yeah.
the slow motion shots and stuff.
Yeah, I fucking loved those rooms that they would just make for music videos back then.
Oh, yeah.
Another good one, going back to Atreyu, I loved the Crimson music video. Oh, it was so cool.
I don't even think I know that one. I honestly don't know really too many Atreyu music videos now that I think about it.
Oh, really?
I can't think of too many off the top of my head.
Well,
all I can remember is homie's fucking blood splattered guitar.
Yeah, that fucking signature. What was it in? Yeah, it was like a Sharp Fin Explorer. I remember wanting that so bad at one point.
I wanted it. I didn't even play guitar. I was like, that shit's so sick.
That and Lamb of God's Mark Morton's camouflage Les Paul with ESP. I was just like, damn, I want to be an ESP artist so bad someday. And it's kind of funny now because like, yeah, ESP is still like top of the line, I feel like, as like a big guitar company in America, but I feel like a lot of people just aren't really fucking with them anymore. Yeah, like there was this shortwave for a second where everyone was like, "Oh, I want to be a Kiesel artist." You know, I want that custom designed body and shit.
That custom.
Yeah, but
for sure.
But yeah, I don't know.
It is interesting how they're like, regardless of what you're into, there's like passing and fading trends of everything. You know, like the guitars even have like popularity waves. You know, like we had the headless guitar craze. Like right after the Kiesel, like, or even around it really. It was like right when, like, honestly, I hate to use this as like a frame reference, but when Justin Lowe died, like that was really like a peak of headless guitar era. Like it's almost like you can almost like mark that in time as like the moment that headless guitars became gigantic.
Yeah, R.I.P. Justin. That was like that was a hard thing for the progressive like gent community to like just take, you know,
especially the circumstances of how it happened. It was mad sad.
Yeah, I think it was really, especially for the gent community, I guess you could say. It sounds weird saying that, but I think
do you think anyone proudly like, I'm part of the gent community?
Man, yeah, that's one of those things you never want to say as like a professional artist. Like, yeah, we're a gent band.
All right, right now, raise your hand if you like gent on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's the Belko experiment. They're like, all right, we're going to figure out, we got to kill 60 people in the next hour. Everyone raise your hand if you like gent on Facebook. Oh, you're all dead.
Yeah. Man, but yeah, like I remember when he died, you know, it was that wake-up call for that specific community, you know. Mental illness is just, it comes in all shapes and all waves. And I think, unfortunately, with that circumstance, like, I don't 100% remember, like, what went down, but I think I remember reading an article saying he ended up leaving on his own terms, going into the woods or something like that. And he ended up, like, getting hurt or something. And I think... Well,
it was, like, the lead up to it, he made, like, this crazy long post about how like the government was like out to get him and stuff. And he was clearly having like a mental lapse, and he was like freaking out at his like band members and stuff about like them not believing in him, and him like saying that everyone was like out to get him, and that the government was like infected his loved ones and stuff, and that the people around him he couldn't trust. And then he disappeared for a couple days, and then his vehicle was found at a park, abandoned, and they didn't find his body for like a little bit, and then they found his body at the bottom of the bridge. He had like presumably jumped off on his own accord, trying to get away from whatever he thought he was trying to get away from. There's got to be that tiny bit of you though that like, as a friend of his, I'm not saying me or anything, but like somebody who is a friend of his, like what a weird thing, right?
Yeah.
To like, I'm sure there's somebody that has that in the back of their head, like, dude, what if homie was running from something? Like, what a weird set of circumstances, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy just because there's so much left. You just want to you want to think of like all the crazy stuff that probably could happen, you know? But I think, unfortunately, with all the information that the public just has over something like that, it's just like, man, this. Not to say that he did have it, but like this just might have been him, because I think he was like, what, 26, right?
He was pretty young. Yeah, maybe even younger than that.
Perfect time for schizophrenia to start up, and that's a great example. Just hyper paranoia of, especially like the government, like trying to take you down
really
or something.
Sad. That's a good point. Dude, my fucking grandma's gardener, bro, is... I don't even know how he's able to work. Like, it just really shows just how little we really take care of people that are mentally ill. Yeah, he's got like gnarly case of schizophrenia, like to the point that he like cannot function as like a normal person.
Yeah.
He literally like says that people shoot lasers at him to try and like weaken his immune system. And he says that he like certain people, he won't garden for my grandma if certain people are over because he's like, no, that one's a spy. I can't be around when that one's around. They shoot lasers at me when you're not looking.
Whoa.
Like it's, and my grandma's just like, yeah, I mean, he's harmless, you know, which is cool. I mean, you know, give him work and stuff. Like I'm glad he's able to do that, but it's crazy that like we have nothing in place, you know, for people that are just living life day to day, suffering like that. That just like how stressful to like genuinely believe people are shooting lasers at you to like weaken your immune system to hurt you. Like how fucked up to have to live with that.
Yeah, and on top of that, you know, for a lot of these people, it's like they're not making a shit ton of money, so there's always that stress of just making sure that they can pay their bills. So they need to work still. They're doing 6, in some cases 7 days a week, multiple jobs. You know,
Right.
Yeah, and you know, like looking back on like some of the shit that like I've gone through, you know, like I just feel so fucking thankful that like I've got good friends like you know, to just get me through like those hard times, you know, like when I was really, really struggling, you know, just sleeping on the garage floor and shit. And, you know, like I still fucking am, but like I've got a better fucking perspective about life. I'm pumped up again. But I just remember, you know, just getting down to that point, just where, you know, not being here 100% just felt like okay, you know? And I just remember a good friend like you just always checking up on me, you know, making sure that I'm getting out, I'm drinking water or something.
Yeah.
You know, it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's.
Little goes a long way.
I'm just so lucky, you know, because I know a lot of fucking people
don't have that support system.
Yeah, that and they just worse situations, you know. I was fortunate enough to have you as a friend that, you know, welcomed me back with arms wide open. Yeah, but yeah, man, like a lot of people just they go right back to their car. They live there for 6 months, or in some cases, you know, like they don't have the money to pay.
Yeah.
You know, their monthly car.
A lot of people aren't emotionally self-aware, you know. It's hard to make progress and change in your life when you're constantly blaming the world or not understanding why the things are happening to you, you know. Like and I think that's what was mad important for our situation, you know, was really like laying down the ground of what even is the point of life, you know. Like giving your own perspective, like your own definition to what it means to you, defining your own worth, and just pumping the brakes for a second and being like, yo, let me fucking appreciate the small things in life, the little things I have that, you know, could be worse. I could have been born with no legs, you know, I could have been born I could have died at birth, you know, I could have been hit by a car when I was born. I could have been born into a tribe that cuts off my fucking clitoris when I was born. Like things could be crazy bad, you know, and it's almost like an obligation at a certain point to try and make at least one person's life better while we're here because of how much misery exists.
Yeah. I had this comparison that I was thinking about for a while in terms of why the brain might just turn against you, you know? And I attributed that to something I went through as a kid, you know? I had this blood disorder where my white blood cells would just regularly fuck up my red blood cells, you know, and because of that, I had because of that, I had just this weak body, you know. I was bruising all the time, and I wasn't allowed to play sports because if I got roughed up, I would internally bleed.
You'd be the liable kid.
Yeah, and that, you know, there was nothing. You know, I was probably not the healthiest fucking kid because I grew up on Kraft macaroni and cheese, you know, but that's just what. You know that you got to do what you can.
Package hot dogs and spaghetti on Fridays. I get it.
Other kids were fine. Other kids were playing soccer.
Their bones weren't brittle.
But yeah, the comparison is, you know, this is a disease, and it exists, and fortunately for me, it kind of went. Yeah, it's gone. Like I'm fine now. My body's healthy, but I just kind of view mental health sometimes that way. It's like, yeah, sometimes the body is just gonna do what it does, and within that, you're either going to get through it or you're going to not, surround yourself with not the best medicine or best surroundings.
Yeah, it's the whole misery loves company thing.
Yeah.
It's very easy to just never grow as an individual and just continue to perpetuate the misery by surrounding yourself with it. And then once you've got a gaggle of people that don't have any perspective to offer, and then it's just a cycle, and then you're just stuck in a loop of you work and then you drink and then you vent to no avail and then repeat the cycle. And I think it's very important to have that moment of clarity to be like, what am I doing? what is, I should be doing something I actually care about. Instead of like, why is partying the thing that brings me joy? Or I get it, like I get the relief of it, but I also think that it's a distraction for a lot of people. It's the whole bread and circus of reality, is that we have things like alcohol to numb the reality that we're all just working till we die. Essentially, and it's such a weird thing to me too, that how normalized alcohol is and how like heavily our parents, our ages and up, drink or did drink. And then like even the opioids and shit too, like all these things that numb you as an individual. And now there's like this new age of like psychedelics and stuff and like self, proclamation and like accountability that's being brought up, because it's like we're all seeing it now. We're all like, with the internet being a thing, we're able to all realize that we've all been stuffing down our feelings and shit and being distracted by bells and whistles while we're all just like, wait, we're all fucking mad unhappy. What are we doing? We keep like pressuring each other into like, oh, do the white picket fence life, Like how many times have you gone to a family get together? Oh, you got a girlfriend? How's your job doing?
Yeah.
You finished school? It's just like, do you even fucking care? What do you, you just spit these off to me every time I see you, Grandma. Like, what are we doing right now? What is this life to you? You just repeat the same shit over and over again until you die, like, and you just sit on a lump, like a bunch of money. Like, what is the point? Unless you define your own values and like perspective out of life, I feel like you just get caught in this sad fucking circle.
I think an interesting thing in that vein is how both of us, we came from nowhere towns. The people that surrounded us, they don't, it's not that they don't want to see you succeed, but they want to see that your life is falling into their idea of what
misery loves company.
But it's very interesting though, because it's like what they want is like, they want to travel, they want to see the world, they want to have a different story, invent something, but
they had us. So they can't let us do those things because it's not fair to them, because they didn't get to, right?
I think that's one of the biggest detriments to some of these just amazing local bands that you see just, in this weird town that you got booked or something. Just killer fucking band, but they're still just stuck in that way of life where it's just like, yeah, you're a great musician, you can go far, you could probably get a really good team behind you, put out like a banger record, and completely 180 your life for the better, and in turn, take care of your family, But I think what ends up happening is that once the show is over or something, you're like, all right, well, I got to work at 6 a.m. the next day.
And then you immediately forget about all the fun stuff that the show just brought you.
It's happened to me. It's happened to...
Happens to everyone.
Everyone, yeah. I totally get.
That's why the solo artist thing works super well for most people. It's hard to get 5 dudes to all have that same mentality of separating. Like, okay, work shouldn't be the thing. Work is just there for you to fund your passions, not. Yeah. You shouldn't be living to work.
I think that's a big wake up call from this pandemic that's been going on. Is just a lot of people for the first time in their life are really reconsidering what they want, what their original plan was.
I think that's why they're so fearful, is that like it's like, death's at their door, and they're like, hey, time's up, You didn't do any of that shit you wanted to do. And they're like, oh my God, no, I can't. I have to survive. And then they panic, buy all the shit and ruin it for everybody else, you know, and make issues with that. Or on the ends of like, well, the virus is here. You know, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Like, I'm still going to that party. Like, you know, that type of attitude, it really is like bringing mortality to people's doorstep, you know. It's kind of it's crazy to see that it's become an epidemic because of that. Because it just really shows that, man, nobody was really prepared to die, huh? Like, none of y'all have even given this a lick of thought.
It's crazy.
Man, this is what kept me up when I was 8 years old, dog. Y'all late to the party, bro.
Yeah.
I've been coping since I was 2. I came out my mom and I said, why? Where does it stop?
Yeah. I think now more than ever, I've really realized that money just comes and goes in life. I've always kind of had this mindset.
If you're Jeff Bezos, then it just comes. It's just there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm prepared.
Right. You can rebuild and restart always. Like my dad's 50 and a half, you know, because I 50 and a half, like I'm 7. And he restarted his whole life at like 49, you know, years old. Like where like completely like zero, like failed company, bankrupt, divorced, like, you know, I should probably just kill myself, like they're right on that doorstep. And now he's doing like 10 times better than he ever did when I was growing up. Like it's wild to see. You know, he owns his own business and stuff and has like a family and shit and owns his own house now. Like to go from failing drug addict to this dude at, you know, over 50 is really a testament to like, oh, just because I had some fuck ups in life doesn't mean my life is ruined. Like I've made some bad choices for sure and I had some debts and stuff on my end, but it doesn't mean that like at the end of the day, those are just numbers, you know, like I could die and that number would still be there. Like it shouldn't change how I feel about everything. Just deal with it, you know? It's like the whole Rafiki thing of like bop you on the head. Like, why are you still mad? It already happened. You know, just deal with it and move on and cope with it and grieve over it properly and then learn from it and then move on because you being upset won't fix the problem, you know?
Yeah, fuck. Shit. Yeah, that's Yeah.
It's a good analogy I like to give is like if I started my day before work and I had a flat tire, you know, I walked out and I had a flat tire, regardless if I'm pissed or not, that tire's still flat. So I should probably just not waste my time being mad and just deal with the flat tire.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe more so make it be like, oh, man, you got me today, universe, you son of a bitch. Just make it a joke, you know? Just like, hey, this shit happened.
Yeah.
Oops. Got to deal with it. Like, me being fucking frustrated and freaking out is only going to hurt me in the long run. It's only just going to make this harder for me to deal with. Build up some anxiety about it that isn't necessary. I think that can even, you know, be helpful to the mentality of releasing art too. Just like so many people fall into this pit of like never releasing anything because they're like, oh, it could always be better. It could always be better. Instead of just being okay with okay, this doesn't have to be my magnum opus. You know, maybe I should just put out content so that I can feel good about something that I made, and so I can track my record. You know, my progress. Like if I'm constantly working on my craft and never putting it out there, why am I even working on my craft? You know, I'm just like going to become a god and then die with all of this infinite wisdom. Like if you're not sharing your art with the world, what's the like? I don't know. I mean, I guess that's not the point of art for everybody, but for me, the whole point of making art was that it helped me so much when I was younger that I wanted to like do that for somebody else. I wanted to be that pillar of like enlightenment or that pillar of inspiration to, you know, like be like, oh, so somebody is going through or went through something I went through and is okay because of it, you know?
Something cool that I've heard about art and music, the second you put it out, like when you're making it, this record is your record. It's your baby. But the second you put that out there for the masses, it's no longer yours. You know, it's for the public.
Right.
It's whatever people want it to be for themselves. You know, it's a part of history now, essentially. And yeah, there's a lot of records that never will get that recognition. But I mean, every
recognition,
every once in a blue moon, it's just like someone somewhere, some nobody just does something and it's just picked up by the right person, and boom. Yeah, you got fucking Nirvana, you got, you know.
Fucking Post Malone.
Yeah, Post Malone's a great example of that.
Even Post Malone even said one time, like when I was talking to him, he said that when he was doing the White Iverson video, he literally moved out to California and like saved up for like a long time, had $5,000 in his pocket, and used all of it for that music video for White Iverson. He literally moved there with like just money for a music video and crashed on homies' couches like to record and film it, and spent like 2 months in LA filming that shit and putting it out there, and it blew up like in a month where like Bieber hit him up and was like wanting to work with him and stuff, and like just took a fucking, you know, a swing on life. Like, and not to say that that's going to work for everybody, but the fact that, you know, the homie's #1 artist in the world for like 2 years strong. Yeah. And literally with just a whimsical dream of like, you know, I've been working on my craft. I saved up $5,000 and I'm just going to put it all into this one sick thing, and let's just see what happens. And if he had just always been like, well, it could have been sicker, you know, it could have been better, he would have never done that shit and he would have never blown up. Yeah, homie was in the right place at the right time, you know? Yeah, sometimes it just takes that push to just put it out, man. Just put it out. You know, what's the worst that's going to happen is that you're going to be like, oh, I could have done it better. Write a new song. Yeah. You know, if you really feel that way. And even if he did fail, you know, like the learning curve where he would go in his own life, whether it be more difficult or... Well, plus he'd probably feel good, too. I mean, I can't tell you how many fucking actor speeches start with, I failed so many times before I got here. You know, it was this... Yeah. And I'm so happy I did, because if I didn't, I wouldn't even understand why I'm here or what the, like... how hard it was to get here because of how many times I fucked up and failed. You know, it's really important sometimes to fail. Yeah. Come out of it stronger instead of just being defeated by it. Yeah. In that vein, it's like, what if Suicide Silence didn't put out that Teehee record, you know? Like, what would have happened to their sound? Because, like, I see their newish record kind of floating around. Like, people are starting to... regain that respect for them again, you know. Like, it's always going to be the Mitch Lucker band, but it comes down to it. People are starting to give them that second chance, you know. Yeah, definitely a little bit. It still feels like the hit they took is, you know, immeasurable in terms of damage. Yeah. I think like so many people nowadays, their opinions, like with this whole cancel culture thing, are that people's opinions are black and white. You know, there's a big issue with that in this modern age where, because of how people can be canceled, I think there's this fear that if you're not on the right side, you will also be canceled. And so people very vigorously and adamantly jump to very staunch conclusions on things. Fuck, what band were we just talking about? Suicide Silence. That's right. And with the Teehee thing, sure, the singing was a bad choice. I think we can all agree on that. The record itself was not that bad overall. It was their retribution to Whitechapel putting out Mark of the Blade. You know, it was their rebuttal to like, okay, we're a deathcore band, and everyone right now that is deathcore is trying to evolve into like a little bit more of like some sort of singing or like that, you know, like radio dad rock and roll, like Funky Monkey 1049 type shit. Yeah. And that was their attempt at it, and it just didn't land. And I think that it's so unfair the way that we treat failed records. Like, if we didn't like it as a crowd, like, we bully the fuck out of it. Like, it happens so often where we try to destroy artists for taking chances on things. Well, and not that we, like... Because the Teehee meme was innocent in my eyes. Yeah. Because it was bad. I think that chorus was not good. And it deserved the criticism it got. But I think the fact that people were like, I can't even respect this band. Like, I'm not even going to listen to them anymore over that. I think that really damaged them. Like, the fact that it became, like, embarrassing to listen to Suicide Silence. Yeah. And they haven't made the recovery. Like, their new shit is definitely... better, but it's not. They're still making money mainly from those Mitch records. I think they have a really big Mexico audience as well. Yeah, like Mexico's deathcore scene of like younger kids is just always prevalent. I don't know what that is, but ever since I've been a musician, Mexico has had the strongest like 14 to 18-year-old kids that fuck with deathcore. Like, it's Mexico straight up loves deathcore. Release the Kraken, still killing it. That band is like As Blood Runs Black old, and they are still killing it. And they're from Mexico. Like, man, they just love it.
Yeah, I think that's just people in that culture just really, really wanting that American culture. You know, it's the same thing with like the Beatles in the British invasion on the United States, you know.
Can we stop the sentence there? Like, that's the quote. Mexico liking deathcore is just like the invasion.
It's just like the Beatles, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Go for it, though.
But yeah, like, I think it comes down to that. It's just these kids are much more excited than the American audience about our culture, you know?
And I think we're spoiled as a culture with our, like, you know, obviously not right now because of the virus, but with how much shows we get and how big concerts were and are, that they don't happen as much in places like Mexico, you know, especially for that type of music. It's usually like really big artists at really big venues. You know, it's never like Mazda Flames is going to Mexico. So
yeah, but even then, like when their label can afford to get them like a host or something or a guide to like take them through Mexico or something like that, the shows are just completely different, different energy. There's people lined up for meet and greets.
Yeah, they love it.
Yeah.
It's so meaningful for them. Dude, you know who goes hard, or what scene? The fucking Japan music scene.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, they go off. They are the most, like, committed, like, fans of music, I swear.
Another one, Germany, they are the festival kings.
Oh, yeah.
Germany, they don't even, it's like they don't even do regular club shows. It's just, yeah, if you're from America,
how crazy can we get?
We'll pay you whatever you want. Just this giant festival. Everyone there is just going to be fucked up, and they just want to listen to your band.
Dude, Amsterdam has mushrooms in dispensaries.
What?
Isn't that crazy? Amsterdam literally has psychedelic mushrooms just in like little kiosks.
I can't imagine what
that
I guess bartender would be like.
Yeah, so like are these shrooms like more of like a heady shroom or like a body kind of trip?
Yeah.
Like just the fact of thinking that you can sell shrooms and then somebody can walk outside and take them and just be like, whoa, buddy.
Yeah, man,
that's wild. If it's already I mean, Amsterdam, to be fair, is an anomaly as far as like just being okay with everything. But the fact that it exists is already, it's like, well, okay, how far away are we from that?
Yeah, it's kind of like the other close. Las Vegas, essentially, you know.
Yeah.
Come here and spend your money and shit in the street.
Shit in the street. Yeah. That's Aberdeen's fucking logo.
Yeah, I remember.
Come here and shit in the street.
I remember the last time we were on tour and we were passing through Vegas. We were trying to enjoy the city. Trying to, as poor as we were, enjoy the city.
For real. The Starbucks is $12. Yeah, I guess that was
the biggest fail. I remember spending like fucking $20 on a slush, like a spiked slushy at
I didn't even drink when we were in Vegas.
Cantina or whatever, just fancy.
Not
ass
even
place.
trying to do that.
Yeah, I was like, man, this was not worth it. I'll just go to 7-Eleven.
And White Castle for the first time in Vegas. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I sat down at a penny slot machine and it had money left in it, and that was the first and only time I've ever gambled.
Yeah.
I won like $5 on the machine and then just spent it all because I was like, I don't want to cash this. It's like 7 a.m.
What was that? What was the name of the venue that we played? I know it was like a church
in Vegas
thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, wasn't it called the church or something?
It's the church, but it's spelled with an X in it.
Yeah.
It was like the CH, like URX.
Man, that show was I felt so bad for our fans.
Remember there's like, okay, but there was this little, like, it was like an Asian woman meeting. I
remember, and she was like, I don't know if she was hitting
on Zach.
Yeah, they were hitting on Zach.
They wanted his meats, man. Yeah. They were. Fuck. It was so funny because I went in that room after Zach did, and they wanted nothing to do with my gargantuan ass. They thought I was Godzilla to them.
Yeah.
And that room was so small. Mm-hmm. Like, I genuinely can't imagine how uncomfortable Zach was. Because when I went in there to get the other table, there was no joke 4 elderly Asian women, like, like cuddled in a corner, like gossiping. It was the funniest thing.
Man, yeah, I remember that particular show was so fucking just shot. I remember even having a hard time getting in the green room. Like, I remember our promoter.
Oh yeah,
he like stopped me. He was like, "Hey, you can't go in there." I just remember,
dude. And then we went in there. There was a bunch of produce. Yeah, it's like a ton of produce that they had to like move out as we were back there.
Yeah, it was like a restaurant thing, but also a church. But sometimes also the promoter would pay to use it as a venue.
Apparently, it was everything. Yeah, Vegas is just weird like that. Gotta say though, dude, I went to. Was it you and I? I went there with somebody. Oh no, it was Zesty. It was Zesty the other time. We went to a vegan spot at next to that restaurant.
We took our tour manager Justin.
Oh, it was the three of us. That's right.
Yeah, we went to this
vegan spot. It was like Lotus Cafe or something.
No, it was called No Fur, and it was a sexy kind of like place to get food, but late at night it turned into kind of just this flirty place to just meet up with other
flirty.
Yeah, well,
I don't remember it being flirty. I just remember having good food.
Yeah, well, it was good food. I remember getting like a vegan cheesesteak or something like that, and talking to our waitress about like the place
because we were
we were there at like 1 p.m. because we got to the venue early and we were just trying to get some healthy food. A cool vegan place or something like that.
All of our other friends on tour only eat fast food. Yeah. So we were trying not to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, but I remember her just saying that, when it gets late, it turns into a party here. I was just like, damn.
Around here at night.
Bro, I wish more than anything you guys were with us in New Jersey for the American Safari Tour, because that was straight up a bit from 30 Days of Night. Like,
wait, how?
So after the show was over, we played in like the back of a bar. So like the bar's there and there's a door and you go back and there's like a little venue back there and then the door closes and you can't even tell that there's a little venue in the back. Like Lavoyer kind of, but with a door. Okay. And like as soon as we finished playing and we were unloading, loading out to the van, it was like 11:30 when we started, and the venue owner was like, "So you guys planning to get out of here soon?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're like loading out right now." And he's like, "Good. Things kind of change around here after midnight."
Oh my god!
And we're like, "What? What do you mean?" He's like,
"Sun sets and never comes back up."
He's like,
"Let's just say the local scene gets a little crazy around here after midnight."
He's like, what are you fucking implying, dude?
Are you going to rob us?
Yeah, are you going to rob us? Like, what are you talking about? And basically by the end of it, what he implied was that he has a deal with local gangs that they can't fuck with his bands until after midnight, and then it's free game.
Whoa.
Because they're like, I guess there was a rampant problem where like band members were just getting robbed outside there and they were losing business. And so he came up with like, all right, how about this? If I come up with a rule where like I get them out of here, but if they stay, then they're free game. And they're like, all right, cool. So apparently there was just some fucking like gang waiting for the midnight to strike to take our shit.
That is nuts, man.
Bro, I was trying to unload merch, or I keep saying unload, but I was trying to load out merch down these stairs. And this drunk chick was on the phone and she stumbled in front of me as I was pushing the stuff, and I hard stopped and was like, oh fuck, I can't believe I almost hit her. And then, but I didn't. I caught it and she still got mad at me. It was like, yo, what the fuck? Were you trying to hit me?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I was deliberately trying to ram into you with 4 totes of merch.
That's exactly what I was trying to do.
You got me. You got me.
How did you know?
Yes, hello. Also, I'm in a band. Would you like to check us out? Yes, I'm the guy with the trolley that tried to murder you.
Like driving the van, like, hey, you want a sticker? We'll pull over.
Dude, that is the worst. Going to a gas station and there's the one dude there that's like, for sure has an A Day to Remember shirt under his fucking Tesco costume. His costume, his uniform.
I remember, I think we were in Wyoming or something.
Of course we were.
And we pulled off.
Oh,
we
yeah.
were so fucking tired.
Was that we were in that Walmart parking lot?
It was like I forget the gas station exactly, but it was like a all-American, like super gas station or something like that. Like, yeah, everyone stops there. It's like Buc-ee's in Texas or something. And I remember going in there to take a shower or something. We were kind of taking a little longer than usual, not just like getting drinks or, you know, protein bars or something. It was, yeah, I remember seeing this one kid. He was so fucking stereotypical, like fat ginger kid. And I got out of the shower and he was listening to the Rings of Saturn on his cell phone, like just blasting it. And I remember just being like, oh, okay, so this is one of the I get 1 in 100 people that in Wyoming that listen to anything that's kind of heavy. So I kind of gave him like the like acknowledgement, like, oh, hey, like, hell yeah, man. Like, that's cool. Yeah, I respect that. And he instantly kind of got the vibe. Like, he was just like, wait, there's a van outside. Like, maybe I should like ask these people who they are. And I remember he found out that it was your band, like, just by like kind of watching me walk out and like say something to you. And he was just like, hey, is Austin in there? And I just remember like,
oh my God, wait, oh my God, yes.
I remember pulling you out. I was just like, hey, Austin, he found out, like, he's right here in front of the van. You gotta wake up.
Trying really hard not to tell him. He found out, dude. Trying really hard not to let him know.
Just like poking your chest, like, hey, wake up.
There's someone here.
You gotta.
That's so funny.
Get in character, bitch.
It's honestly awesome though. They just like put it together. He's like, wait, hold on. He's gonna take a shot in the dark here.
Yeah.
You happen to Austin Dickey? Yeah, I do remember that. He was actually like talking about wanting to go, but it was like clearly way too far.
Oh yeah, no, I think
it was like over an hour away, I think, for him.
I think it was longer than that because we were playing.
He was a good sport.
Was it Rock Springs or something like that?
I do remember he was a little aggressive.
Yeah.
But I also think
gingers,
that
man.
It might have just been like a social spectrum thing, which is, you know, you can kind of tell sometimes.
Yeah.
When they don't have like the social cues.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was nice.
Yeah, he was nice.
I just love that, like,
but
random gas station in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, I watched your YouTube videos. You're like, what?
Yeah, I remember.
How?
I remember when we were going through Texas, we hit this one gas station.
We hit this one kid and I told no one about it.
No, just I remember walking in and instantly the gas station clerk knew who me and Zach were, and I was just like, whoa, this is. He was like. Instantly, like, I'm not working anymore. Like, we're taking a picture.
Oh, dude. Remember that one gas station we went to that the dude was just stoked that he bumped into a band?
Oh, yeah.
And he took a picture with all of us outside. Mm-hmm. He was like, oh, can I get a picture with the whole band, please?
in that vein, it's just kind of like the whole time you're taking the picture, it's like, wait, does this guy like know who we are? Or is he just excited that
he did not know who we are?
Okay.
Confirmation on that, because he didn't end up tagging us later because he probably forgot our band name.
Yeah.
Because he kept asking it. He was, what was the name again? For the likes of, all right, cool, I'm going to tag you guys. And we never got tagged.
Yeah, it's all good. But like, it's wholesome when you meet people like that. They're just excited to see a van of people come out and just like there's fucking laminates, so they're just like, oh, this is an important person, like, oh yeah, I should probably my niece might know who they are.
Like someone who has like one really good concert experience,
yeah, and
they just get stoked, like, whoa, a real life band.
I went to 2008 Ozfest and like, man, Anthrax was playing and like you guys got guitars and like that's fucking cool, bro.
It's honestly so funny seeing the difference of people that really like music and just think that when you're in a band, it's crazy that they're talking to you versus like your family. Mm-hmm. They just like make fun of you.
Man, I always thought it was funny that you always got like the young kid fans like coming to you, but I always got the kids as parents.
They're like, yo, like, guitar, huh?
Yeah, the supportive father that brought his like daughter to the show.
And yeah, he used to play guitar in the back in the day.
Yeah, he's just like, man, that's like a pretty cool looking amp you got there. Like, I play guitar, you know, like that's my daughter over there. just like,
there's always a funny thing too with
dudes wanting to talk gear.
Parents that bring kids, they're always almost like yeah, I'm doing you a favor, by the way. Like, I always get that vibe from parents that bring younger kids. They always are like, you know, like my kid watches your videos. We kind of like pay your bills.
You owe me.
I get that vibe way more than I'd like to admit.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, what do you want, dude? I'll do anything. Just don't be weird about this.
Yeah.
I will do whatever you want. You can have my food. I'm such a pushover.
Oh God, man.
Call me a name. I'll just make a joke. I don't care. Remember New Mexico venue, the theater?
The theater in New Mexico.
It was the one with the Breaking Bad.
The
scene,
haunted
Chicken
place. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up too, because I always thought that shit was so funny. Everyone freaked the fuck out about the little ghost boy in the door. Well, shit was so funny.
To be fair, the way it was described to me was very, very sinister.
Dude,
very
I went up
creepy.
there by myself in the attic and was like,
You went up there by yourself?
yeah, I went up there by myself.
trying to hang out
I
with
took
the
his toy
ghost
car.
boy?
I took his toy car. I put it up on the thing and I was like, yo, let's play, boy. Let's play with your car. And I told him, I was like, come on, I set it up for you. Play with your fucking car. I wasn't like rude at. I was really nice at first, and he wasn't doing it. So I took the car. I was like, bro, if you don't play with this car, I'm gonna throw it. I threw his fucking car. I started scuffing his stuff. Like I was like, come on, I wanted a ghost so bad.
Okay, so I got a thing. Like
Nothing happened, by the way.
so this kid supposedly died in like the whole building like
Maybe
caught
I
on
scared
fire.
him.
So my question is, if this is the kid's toy,
Yeah.
how did the toy not burn up in the fire? Like,
No, I think it was one of those things where like
They
somebody
just-
else brought.
someone's like, oh, here you go, little ghost boy. Here's a toy.
I mean, I wouldn't be
This is
surprised if a
yours.
Hot Wheels survived a fire. Like if it fell under, it was under something.
Yeah, but this is a long time ago. This is like wood. Everything's like made out of wood. So
Not
everything.
the Hot Wheel.
Hot Wheels have just been making metal cars.
Titanium Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember the first year we went there, and they did the light thing, and I was like, okay, that's not really compelling, because you guys are
Yeah.
asking it a question, and it's inconsistently, like within 10 seconds turning off. I think it's just a
Yeah.
faulty light, guys. And then we went back, and I was like, dude, fuck this, I'm gonna try. And that's when I did the ghost boy thing. I remember that balcony being wicked creepy though. I loved looking up at the balcony overhang during the show, because it was like, yo, the Scream guy could be up there killing someone right now and no one would know.
I used
Fucking
to
spooky.
one of my first jobs ever was like a janitor at like 16 to like 18.
You're a janitor at 16? Is that allowed?
Family shit, bro.
Oh, okay, that's good. All right.
Yeah. I just remember it was probably like 3 in the morning. We had this one gig every now and then, and we would clean this theater. It was called the 7th Street Theater. It was in Hoquiam, next to one of the first venues I ever went to, called The Building. R.I.P. That place was sick.
So
it was an
creative.
old karate dojo, but
Karate? Why was it called The Building?
they just did not try at all with naming that place. It was so fucking punk, so just dirty the second you walked in there. But anyways, I used to clean this this theater, and it was 100% like we were told, yeah, this place is haunted. And there were certain certain just rooms that I'd have to clean by myself with a vacuum or something. And I just remember the creepiest fucking feelings just walking through there. And then there were moments when certain things would be moved around, and like I was like, okay, maybe this is just my the other people fucking with me, but like this is a massive like old theater that's way over 100 years old.
Mm-hmm.
It's having trouble standing. Like if you walk on the roof, you could fall through. And yeah, I just remember when I'd clean that place, just really fucking bad. Like I've always felt safe, but there were just certain rooms, in particular the underneath the stage, there was this like hellhole. You could, it was literally
I think underneath any stage is a hellhole.
Like I was like,
to be
man,
fair.
Phantom of the Opera shit. Like where is this guy? He's like,
Where is
he's
he?
literally just just fucking running around.
Man, I wish ghosts
Evil
were real.
laughs.
I want them to be real so bad, but I just don't think they are.
Yeah.
I like even in that instance, like what Like, what does a 100-year-old ghost benefit from moving a mop like to a different location? Like, what the fuck does that? What does that do? What's the point of it? Like, oh, my mop's in a different location. You really got me, ghoul.
I think it was just the feeling of the place. You know,
I get it. Yeah, it's
just so big.
That's why it's scary.
It was so big to the point where it's just like, man, this couldn't have been like one of the 2 other people that are cleaning this place right now, because it's so fucking big. They're busy doing something else.
You just got turned around because it's a big place and you thought you left it in a different location than you did.
Yeah, maybe I'm just like self-sabotaging my own brain or something.
It just seems weird that a ghost would move a mop to spite you.
Yeah.
Even like, well, it's 100. Like, are they that bored? It's like, oh, I'm gonna fuck with this guy so hard. Like, they can manipulate energy and they're spending that time moving mops.
The ghost is just like, hey, I see you're cleaning my house and like, I want you to get the fuck out of here.
Maybe he was like,
how dare you?
Maybe he was trying to be like, no, you missed this spot.
I was going to eat that floor popcorn, but
you cleaned it and now I'm sad.
I'm hungry.
I've been trying to pick up that floor corn for the better half of a century.
I keep trying to eat, but it keeps falling through me.
It keeps comedically falling through my ghost body. Oh, dude, liquid was always my favorite bit. When like a ghost or a skeleton tried to drink a liquid.
Oh, yeah.
And you would just hear the splashing on the floor.
Man, yeah.
Mania.
Mania.
A new brand of mayonnaise.
Just taking in the scenery.
Yeah, we're outside in the middle of the dark. It's like 1 a.m. It's pretty hot. Not like physically, but like, horny levels are through the roof right now.
Yeah, it's really quiet out here. Usually there's like a lot more sound, or maybe it's just the fact that I have these noise canceling headphones on right now, but
yeah, I'm sure that helps a lot to like immerse yourself. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for listening. This has been DickeyTime with my boy Justin Peterson. We're in a band together for the likes of you. Appreciate you guys checking it out. Listen to our music, stream it below. Yeah, right now I have a couple projects that are very close to completion. Doing a guest feature for Justin Haskin's band, Lost Conduit. Just tracked a little bit. You helped me out with that, Mr. Justin.
Yeah, we had a great session.
Yeah, he helped me out big time with that. It was a lot of fun getting in that headspace and writing about some fantasy lyrics that I haven't really wrote about before. It'll be a track featuring with Dan Watson too, so if you guys are into that squishy boy, then you can get hype on that track. We are one step closer as well on my project with my boy Jacob Hansen. We actually have the project name now. It is called Dark Watch, so get ready for that. It's some blackened deathcore, really old school style instrumentals with a new school atmosphere and vocals, and artwork and logos are all done, so just waiting on the CDs to be made up. We're going to do a little segment on these podcasts where we end with a little recommendation, be it a band, be it a movie, be it a food fucking dish, who cares? We're going to recommend you something. This week we're recommending you a movie that both of us enjoy. Justin, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I absolutely... trying to like tie it in with music and everything. This is a movie that I've just been going off on, and I feel like, yeah, people have watched it, but it's really flown under the radar for some reason. I think Lords of Chaos. What a fucking great movie.
Yeah, you've been recommending that to me. I need to watch that. I keep forgetting.
Oh, it's so good, man. It's just on the history of just Norwegian black metal and kind of like how these no-name, just troublesome kids end up using just this crazy culture that they create, and they manifest a music scene around it, and then they become these kind of just characters. And it goes over all like the church burnings that happened in Norway around that time. I think it was like 90s or late 80s or something. But yeah, such a fucking great movie. It talks so much on the concept of how like everyone, even like the biggest rock stars or, biggest, most popular musicians out there, how really we're all just insecure motherfuckers that are just trying our hardest to act like we're somebody tough or something like that, or like we're killers or Satanists. And
Everyone pretending like they don't have feelings.
yeah. Great movie. I can't recommend it enough. It's got Macaulay Culkin's little brother in it. He
was in Scott Pilgrim, right?
I think he was. No, wait.
Wasn't he Scott Pilgrim's roommate? The gay roommate?
I'm not sure. It's been a minute since I've seen that movie. He was in. It was the same kid that played the little boy in Signs. He also played in Mean Creek.
That's the same kid.
Yeah, same kid. Yeah,
That's surprising.
yeah. That's going to be my recommendation of the week, though. Watch Lords of Chaos. Great movie. Love it. A lot of people don't give black metal a chance because I feel like it's kind of cringy by nature, but it's got just a really, really cool, rich history about a very different type of genre. And I think whether you do rap, whether you do even indie, you can take something away from it because it just touches on this music community so well. And just how the rise of it and also the fall, how things can get dark real quick if you just keep trying to be this fake thing that you're not really.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, no way.
What movie you recommending, Abby?
What the fuck?
What?
This is so confusing. Bro, you're not going to believe this. So, the Lords of Chaos guy, right?
Yeah.
That's Macaulay Culkin's brother, yes.
Yeah.
The Scott Pilgrim guy is a different Macaulay Culkin brother.
Are you serious?
I'm not kidding. He has
Whoa.
a third brother, and his name's Kieran Culkin.
I had no idea.
That's fucking blowing my mind because I went to the Lords of Chaos guy. I went to his IMDb, and I couldn't find Scott Pilgrim. I was like, I'm going to go to Scott Pilgrim's IMDb, and it's a different Culkin brother. That's so wild. I had no idea he had two brothers.
You learn
It's just
something
called Two
new every
Brothers.
day, Austin.
Every day.
Today we learned that there are multiple Culkins.
Thrice Culkin. No one is safe.
Everyone that dies, 5 more grow back.
Dude, imagine if you left all 3 of them alone at different homes at the same time.
My God.
The world would explode. Every bandit ever would surrender. My recommend this week, I'm not gonna start off fancy or like one of my biggest deep cuts. I'm gonna recommend a movie that did not deserve the L it took, and that is Underwater. That movie came out in January, which if you're a movie buff, January is the dump month where people just put out their shittiest, worst, low budget movies in hopes to make a little bit of money back, and it's just notorious for being the bad month for movies. Like January just never does good. And this movie, Underwater, starring Kristen Stewart, is really good. It was surprising. It was very surprising. I did not think it was going to be sick. It starts off super strong, very intense right away. A lot of cool morality struggles. Kristen Stewart's it breaks through for sure finally from her just vapid stare character she's typecast as. She actually takes on a pretty heavy lead position and sells a lot through facial expression, and you can tell she's really taken that criticism to heart.
I love anything that's mysterious, deep sea.
And it's cool like that too. If you listen, I highly recommend listening to this movie with headphones on or really good speakers, because there's background audio going on that significantly teases what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's something that I really enjoyed listening to.
It really enhances the overall experience.
Big thing I got to warn you about. TJ Miller's a little cringy in it. He says 4 jokes that I was like, boo, yikes. That was pretty, was that an improv bit? He makes an anime joke to a character that looks like he would know nothing about anime. And then the guy was like, oh yeah, sick, dude. I know anime. And he's like, oh, you like anime? And they go way too long. It reminded me of when dubstep was mentioned in Deadpool.
Yeah.
And then they mentioned dubstep twice in Deadpool. And you're like, dude, this is you're 5 years too late especially to mention it twice. And that's how this felt. Not that anime is late, but this just felt like a weird attempt. Someone was like, hey, make an anime joke.
Yeah. Makes me think of, do you watch that Predator remake? I forget I think it was called The Predator.
Which the one with Adrian Brody?
No. That was
I like that
Predators.
one. Oh, you're right.
There's so many fucking movies
What's
now.
the 2018 one?
It's yeah. I saw that in theaters, and there is a like spoiler alert. It's not really a spoiler. You kind of expect it.
Is that when they say the bad pun where they like call
Oh
it a
my
predator?
god, it's so fucking bad. It's like the predator legitimately just wakes up from a coma and is just like. I think it's either him or the girl. I kind of am drawing a blank on here, but I will never forget how fucking bad the fucking insert of the universal predator pun it just was inserted. It was like something along the lines of the predator like standing up and just being like in his predator voice like, "You're one ugly motherfucker."
Stop, dude.
I was just like, no.
The predator says that?
Yeah, the predator's just
predator
like hyper
talks?
like hey, like Arnold Schwarzenegger we're trying to pay you. That's why we're here. You taught us how to speak and say this cool thing to our other predator friends.
I hate that.
I'm just trying to pay back the favor.
I've only
Hopefully
seen
your human body
I've only
doesn't
seen
age.
Dead Meat's kill count on Predator, the new Predator.
Yeah.
Because I heard it was really bad. And I also didn't like that it was directed by like comedy writers.
Oh, it was so bad. Yeah.
I saw that teaser of the Predator making the arm go through and do a thumbs up and was like, what the fuck? When the hell would a Predator ever do that?
It's like in Wolverine when he like flips the camera off with his fucking.
You're like, wait, what?
Like, yeah, that's fucking badass.
Hey, remember comic books? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, wait, is this whole thing in a comic book? What was that? Is Wolverine aware he's in a comic book? What's happening? It's so funny. Sorry, back to Underwater. What I was saying of TJ Miller, a little cringy. I will say his character, I think, is written pretty cool. I vibe a lot with who he is. He's like this sarcastic guy, but he's kind of got a heart of gold and does like, there's a bit there. I'm going to spoil this bit because it's honestly so funny. There's this girl that's like clearly having like a mental fucking breakdown when shit hits the fan. Like, you know, half the cabin's already exploded and they're like at the bottom of the Marianas Trench, you know, like this is pretty stressful.
Yeah.
And half the cab's exploded. This chick's like fucking not taking it well. And they're talking about going out. Like somebody has to go out and get this, like, oh, you got to go retrieve this thing. There's a distress beacon. Like, go check it out. And they're all trying to figure out who's going to go. And TJ Miller's character is like, all right, Suna, it's your time to shine. Step up. And, you know, the girl that's like freaking out and she's like, what the fuck? What? He's like, starts panicking and he slaps her shoulder. He's like, I'm just fucking with you. I'm going to go. I'm going to do it. I was just kidding. And I was like, dude, I would fucking for sure be the one to do that. To like, hey, check this out. I'm going to fuck with her, but I'll do it. It's fine. I was just kidding. Yeah, so I did enjoy his character, but there was whack voiceover in the movie that like really ruined two very big parts. And then TJ Miller's character's death could not have been more obvious that it was about to happen. He literally gives like a sentiment and then you're like, oh, so you're going to die, huh?
Yeah.
And then it happens like literally the next scene. You're like, that was really lazy of you guys to do that. But his death was fucking cool. It was like one of the most jaw-dropping, like, whoa, that was pretty sick things I'd seen in a minute.
Yeah.
One of the sickest like mid or late movie creature reveals I've seen in a long time. And they nailed the underwater atmosphere. It really does feel murky and claustrophobic like they're underwater. I will say the characters feel a little underdeveloped other than Kristen Stewart's character. But I think she goes through a full character arc that is very fun to watch. But there's really cheesy voiceover at the end, and Kristen Stewart almost sounds like she's mad she's doing the voiceover. So keep that in mind if you watch it. There might be a director's cut without voiceover, and I would watch that if you can.
Yeah. I'm going to have to watch Underwater. You're going to have to watch Lords of Chaos. We're going to have to
definitely
reconvene and discuss our opinions.
Also, just watch The Lighthouse. What are you doing?
Yeah, for real. That was definitely my favorite movie of 2019.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thanks again for tuning in with us.
Tuna.
It was fun hanging out here in the woods with y'all. Had a nice little campfire. Learned a lot about ourselves.
The forest.
Had a good cry.
A growl could be heard from the heart of the wood.
All right, y'all. Yeah, check back in next week for another podcast. We'll see you soon.
Be sure to subscribe for more and check out the playlist below with all the other podcasts that we have already done. Thank you guys, and we will see you next week. Peace out.